Here we are back again, and I know everybody is seeing a lot of things that have been happening, and oh, there are. Last night, right before I went to bed, which I think it was early morning this morning, I did a little bit of my own, just privately, pulling out some cards, rods, pendulum, asking questions, holding keys, and it came up with some information that I believe is interesting. Some of you have mentioned it, but I sent this information to a very trusted source of mine. I'm not going to say who it is, who and then passed it over to another agency outlet. This morning, some of these people, and it's not a mainstream media group like Fox or anybody else, reported on this and was raising questions. And then we have this video come out. So before we get started, first of all, I'm not going to tell what that is, because even if something that comes true from that, which I always say I hope not, I'll never say, see, I told you, because that's just not the way I am, and Nancy needs help. So now, before we get started, I'd like to invite you to join me tomorrow night. I will be live with Calling All Beings, and I will be weighing in on the Netflix documentary Evil Influencers, or Influencer. And I believe you might be surprised of what I have to say about that Netflix documentary. That starts at, I believe, 7:30 to 8. I'm not sure. 7:30, I think, p.m., and that is Eastern Time. The other thing is, if you would like to see more content, which I really go into, remote viewing and so forth for Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk and that type of topic, you can visit me over on my sister channel at True Oracle Fate and Fortune, and I'll leave a link in the description so you can go over there and catch up. And I'm going to be putting some more information over there today about the island. Now, I'm going to try not to mention that too much here, and I'm going to ask respectfully that you don't put names in the chat, because this is not political. And we all know what everyone is facing, okay? But if they're held, I don't see them anyway. So I'm going to give you little code words, maybe a little snark here and there. But I do believe there's something here that ties it in, and what I saw last night makes a lot of sense. So thank yous very much for sticking with me so I can give you these little announcements. As you can see, I have a plethora of decks on the table, and just so you know, this may be a long one, so you may want to pause, get a little snack, get your drink, maybe get a pen and paper, because whatever comes out today. And that's the way I look at it. Whoever that is, and I kind of have an idea who that is on the ring camera, or the camera, the front door camera. Everybody's, like he's so professional. I say bull. Hold on. I've got to show you. This fits into my big book of bull. Yesterday, they were saying, we didn't have anything. There's no suspects. There's no anything else. And it was right toward the time where Savannah was supposed to be, and family, was supposed to be paying the ransom money based on a proof of life. You never pay ransom without getting a proof of life. They didn't get it. But what they got are camera images, and I believe they've had these, but they're trying to flush somebody out. Whomever this is certainly not a professional in my idea, because you can start naming clothing items, and plus this person is right-hand dominant. How do we know that? Well, look at the holster for this firearm in the front of him. Yes, it is male. Yes, check out the eyebrows. The eyes are the eyebrows, and he's got a mustache. Who does that? This certainly isn't like anything that I've seen. Picking flowers at the front, going out, showing your whole body. All I got to say is, dork, what are you doing? Dumb crook news is what this is. We have entered now into psychological warfare as far as the FBI and this perp that we've been talking about. How do I say that? Well, it's because they're asking the public to get involved. They're pretending as though they don't know. They are the most sophisticated organization in the world. They can flush out anything and everything. And you're going to tell me you don't know who this person is, or you don't have an idea who he, a bull that belongs in the big book of bull again. But I get it, because so far they've been dumb. Going out to the end of the walk, into her little patio porch there, looking around, fuddling, picking flowers and putting them up in front of the camera. Give me a break. This has two things that are coming together. And we're going to see that with the cards. So thank you so much for letting me get on my, as they say in the South, pulpit and preaching about this. Today is, and we're going to start doing this. I'm going to start making some notes. Here's the map we started out with and the dates that we started. It's been a few days, my darlings, but here's what we're going to do. And I need to get my big book of bull back. And today we're going to write on here. Today is Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. No ransom. Camera images. Images. Okay. There we go. All right, we got it. We got it. And at time of making this, I did hold off a little bit because I started seeing these images this morning and I was in talks with somebody else about some things. So it is now 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Very good, my darlings, very good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this to the side because it's getting real crinkly and I don't want to, the energy is already here. So I'm just going to put it to the side because I don't want to mess it up. I'm going to leave this out here in case I have to point to something. The BBB gets put to the side. And we have, my darlings, the key with a moon phase, many gems, many stones, and this key that is at least, I believe, a couple of centuries old, that is from Europe, that belongs to a fortress. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to lay a foundation first, and this is how it works. I lay a foundation. I ask where spirits, guides, angels, and the energy of Nancy. Where are we supposed to go? Now, tell us what direction we're going in. The energy already knows, and the reason I say energy is because I'm not depending upon an entity. Entities lie. I'm depending upon energy. Energy doesn't lie. It's pure form. It's physics. So here we go, my darlings. Yes, I'm getting on with it now. And as a disclaimer, I'm not accusing anyone. This is entertainment purposes only. We're just here having fun because we all just need to be entertained. That's the way it is. All right, so here we go. Yes. On the bottom of the deck, changing directions is exactly where this is going and exactly what I thought of. I'm going to put it here. You may not be able to see it. And yes, I need a football field. Seek higher wisdom. This is my little card that I made when it's time to go down the bunny trail. You know, the rabbit trail, the bunny trail. We're hopping down the bunny trail. Today, we're doing it. Because there's a connection here. Now again, we're not talking political. We're talking, I don't know, we could mention something like an island. Gilligan? Epstein? Time to rest. It is a time to rest the particular narrative that we were having. It is time to rest. But it is also time, I do believe that's for Nancy. We'll come back to that when we get other cards. The pieces of this particular puzzle are definitely coming together. We do know that. And this is a wolf in sheep's clothing. There's somebody involved here that's pretending to be something that he is not. We're going to ask who they are. Getting out the tarot. Thank you. So you see, we're being led down the bunny trail, exactly where I figured that we would be going, laying out these first rounds of cards. I sure do want to thank you for your kind comments, for being here, for your diligence, your prayers, for Nancy. That's what it's all about, right? Sometimes as weird and awful that these cases can be. Look, here's the deal, my darlings. We're staring down the barrel of evil. That's what we're touching on. Evil has no conscience, especially when there is money involved. The bottom of this deck is this. The 9, which was yesterday, but the 9 of Pentacles. Today is the 10th, and it reduces to the number 1. We're starting all over again, but not really. We're taking another pathway. You see, right here, this is heartbreaking. But the swords are all communication. And sometimes words hurt worse than anything physical. Many of us know this. 3 is significant. February is month number 2. And then we have the 10th, which is a 1, and that is 3. I believe we're going to maybe hear some more heartbreaking news, or there's going to be a heartbreaking plea today. This 3 is all about communication, as heartbreaking as it can be. You see, the clouds are coming, the rain are there. But I want you to know that when these cards show up like this, it's temporary. It's not this, okay, well, that's the way it's going to end for you. Sorry. No, it's not. The King of Cups, the king and his dominion, the kingdom. The kings in the tarot are all about the rule makers. And it's funny because the queens really are the enforcers, but it's the kings who make the rules, as far as I know and I've researched. You see, here's something I want you to know. I've researched these cards back to the 14th and 15th centuries. A lot of tarot had different names and meanings, and an organized church changed them, either because they were afraid of the truth coming out, or it made people stop and think. So when I'm saying a particular thing, I'm not just throwing it off the cuff here. All right, so look at this. a water sign, and you see the spirit animal of this particular, look at this little fishy. He's jumping out of water. Now there's a phrase or a saying that goes there, it's just like a fish out of water. And that is what's happening today. Some people are out of their realm. And I want you to know, I was watching a live stream of people in front of Nancy Guthrie's house. There was a pizza delivery man that came up there, went straight up to the house. He was not stopped or questioned by the sheriff's department at all. But those who are standing outside, who are wanting to live stream and report on this, are being held back. So this sheriff is an issue. And not only that, it is documented now that there has been a little tussle between the feds and the sheriff. And rightfully so. Let's think about this for a second. The sheriff closed the crime scene. Everybody's brother, dog, pup, grandmother, and distant cousin were over there lurking around this house. And guess what they did? They probably messed up they could have messed up some tire tracks. You never know. They could have messed up and touched certain things. We don't know. And that's when the feds came back in and said, oh no, we're not playing this game. So the sheriff is not being looked at very well right now. And I agree, in my opinion. This king is a domestic king. And you see, he's waiting because this is water, once again, and there's a ship back here. This ship, he's waiting for the ship to come in. What is on the ship? It could be Nancy. Now, I'm talking metaphorically here. I don't believe Nancy is on a ship, but usually when they say that your ship is coming in, it's either news or abundance or something, an asset. Well, Nancy is definitely an asset, but she's not on a ship. I hope she's alive. I'm just going to say it that way. I hope and pray that she's alive. And people are saying, Savannah said today, this gives them hope with this guy. I don't know how it gives them hope, but okay. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. We have to step into the reality of this. But I do know that there are people that are working with the family. There are hostage negotiators that are very good at counseling people in these types of things, and they write out what they are supposed to be saying. Although I do think that little message that Annie said the other day is disturbing. Mama, we need you to come home. Annie, can I tell you something, my darling? If Mama was able to come home, she would have come home a few days ago. Stop it. Okay, sorry. Okay. Yes, I'm snarky today. I've been up all night. I need a cup of tea. Here we are. So this king now is looking over things. And what is he looking at? Well, the ship, it's like a fish out of water. It's like everybody is scattered. They don't know what to do. And now, here come the perps. They didn't get the money. They're broke. If that really even was real. But the 5 of Pentacles, the number 5 in biblical numerics means grace. So they've been given a little bit of grace by the family, by the feds, to say, okay, we're still going to play the game, and we'll play it until we arrest you. That's how it works. I don't know how stupid that they think that, I mean, my goodness, this guy on the ring, that it's frightening, quite frankly. I don't know what's more frightening, somebody that can just step up like that and do what he did, or the fact that it seems like he's bumbling. Let me pick these flowers. So, with this being said, I have always said with this card, doesn't necessarily mean that it's a prediction of being broke. What it's a prediction of is the circumstances. You see, this young person, and I'm going to say a mother right here, got it, crippled to a certain degree. Dire straits. She's barefooted. He's in a bad way. It looks like they're under a church with a stained glass window. Obviously, they've not gotten any help, and it's snowing, and the clothes are something else. They've figured out. They have figured out that they cannot stay in the same place that they are, so they've got to be on the move, and they've got to get something better. And where are they headed to? This Page of Wands. So now we're going to see some creativity. We're going to see some open doors. And we're going to see some growth in emotions. But this fire element comes to light because you see, this little fellow is dressed very well. But one thing I want you to know about this person who is a wolf in sheep's clothing, he feels that he's getting away with it, and his co-conspirators. Why? Because this is an indication. Have you ever heard of that little phrase, well, that guy's got a feather in his cap? Because they are accomplished. Now, I have a question I'm just going to put out there, and this is what I emailed over to my contact last night. I do believe that there's some nefarious background because of a particular interview that Savannah had a few years ago and continued on and on and on and on and on. That's all well and good, but how would they have known that Nancy was going to Annie's house to have dinner and play games and then go back? How would they have known if they were not watching, or they were tipped off by someone on the inside? Yes. And this right here is those perps who thought yesterday was the 9th, who thought that they were going to be abundant and have 6 million in, I almost said euro, it's not euro, cryptocurrency, which is about as worthless as really this cloth. Because they could have gotten it yesterday, but today it might have only been worth $50, and that happens to a lot of people. That is an example. Now, when you see me, you know I'm a storyteller, you know I'm going to share, you know I'm going to teach you, but we're laying a very good foundation here because it's telling us the pieces of we're going to go down the bunny trail. The pieces of this puzzle are coming together. There's definitely someone, I believe, on the inside who is tipping people off, and they are feeling right now a little nervous, but they feel accomplished. Okay, the bottom of the deck, we may hear of another message or a note coming. We may hear of that. You can see these are not good cards. And I mean, it's just the reality of it. I hope that I am wrong. I keep saying that, but I just feel Nancy's energy is not here, not on this plane. On the other side, I feel she had too much. If she were 40, 25, 40, even 50, and not as much medical problems, yeah, I'd say, okay, we've got a good shot here, my friends. But this guy has a backpack. What's he have in the backpack? Did he have meds? Did he have, so that might be thought, but I don't think that they thought very long, because I believe that money was involved and is involved. I believe there's some jealousy there within the family because one or two family members are making a boatload of money, and then there is someone who's trying to keep up appearances and keep up with it and just cannot. There's definitely grieving. I'm going to say, by the looks of this, and you see we have here someone in spirit looking here and saying, okay, this is taking another route now. Because I'm going to tell you what I believe. When it comes right down to it, and look, they were looking for a little gift, but this is still a package. This is the gift that keeps on giving, and not in a good way. What I do believe, based on what I saw last night and what I'm seeing today, is that they're going to forget the ransom and look at the pathway. Will that lead to Nancy near a national park? We've got water out here. But what I believe is they'll just, as of right now, things can change, but as of right now, I feel that they may just go ahead and forego the ransom, send over a note, and say, Mom is here. Because what are they going to do? They say they don't have any suspects or anything else. It would be hard to alert any type of airports, but I just think this is sus. I mean, this is a time when Savannah was supposed to be going for the Olympics and didn't. That's her. That is the perp. That is jail. And that is... yeah, it's a journey, all right. And I believe that this person may try to leave. Now, some of these details you may never know. I may never know, and that's the reality because of the way that law enforcement operates. And quite frankly, as nosy as we all are, and let's face it, I'm just as nosy as the rest, I want to know what's going on, and we're not going to know. Not all the details. Not until this goes to court, and then they may do it. But look, I'm just going to tell you something. I want to talk about Charlie Kirk for just a second. Last summer, he talked about a particular, let's say, Gilligan's Island, Gilligan's Isle. And he talked about the captain of that ship. And take a minute. If you're not following along, you'll be able to, okay? And just be careful what you put in the comments, please. But he talked about that aggressively. And then the next day, he said he didn't want to talk about it on the first day. I think it was the 13th of July. He said, I don't want to talk about this. I'm not talking about it. He was talking about donors and everything else. And I think at that time, he was a little suspicious. Now, I'm going to also tell you, over at Fate and Fortune, I'm going to be talking about how I feel that Charlie's necklace plays a big role in what happened. But then I believe on the 14th of July, Charlie talked about this. He talked about the island and the participants of the island. And he talked about all of this, and I watched it. It was horrific, some of the information that was coming out. It wasn't horrific that he was talking about it. It was horrific what evil is in the world. And he talked to about an hour. And let's all remember who possibly sort of kind of might be involved in a traffic department by the name of Erica back in the day that has a loose connection to the island. Now, fast forward, just this last September, all of a sudden, these people were being researched by a country where Bethlehem is located. And I'm saying all this loosely now. Stay with me. And then Charlie gets his ticket to paradise. He gets to go to the upper room. Now, Savannah also starts talking about, well, she talked about this long before Charlie did, and was bringing people forth, a particular young lady forth. And that caused some real big eyebrows. And then she had a little bit of a tug of war with someone who is in office. She's been raising Cain over that, and then married to somebody who likes to scrub things and who is associated with the Clintocks. You all know, come on now. And now we have this. But I think that it is a collaboration. Because if you look at one thing, you're going to see another. There is absolutely no coincidence. And yes, many of you have mentioned it. And I said, no, we're not going to get political, because I'm going to tell you something. I have acquaintances that I know very well in this arena here, whose videos are starting to get taken down. And I don't want that, because if that starts happening, then I can't get you information, and I can't teach, and I can't do anything more. So humor me, okay? And it's not really the tubes of you, it's the advertisers. They get a little nervous, and they don't want to pay things, so then they shut things down. They contact the tubes of you, and then they say, okay, well, we want your advertising money. We'll just take that video down. It's no skin off our teeth. That's how it works, and I don't want that to happen. I want to continue on. And the same thing goes for True Oracle, Fate, and Fortune. So to me, my darlings, all of this comes together. And these people are more powerful than can be. But I'm also going to tell you another thing. They hire people, they ask people who are complete dorks, Dummkopfs, to carry out what it is that they want to be carried out. And money talks. So that's where I am with this. And all of this now is starting to come out, because here it's telling us right off the bat, we're going to change directions in the worldwide. And that's exactly what I feel. This is much bigger than we think, although I think that it is localized, because they have this person, perhaps not on the payroll, but perhaps so involved because of jealousy, because of money, because of, listen, it wouldn't be the first time that family turned against family. Absolutely not, right? We're here, we're adult, we know. Here we are. Let's go with the next cards. Now, this is amazing. On the bottom, loss. Put this over here. Now, the reason I say it's amazing is because we had this card yesterday. We've had these cards. And merriment, there's a certain celebration that goes along with things like this, because you get adrenaline and you get empowered and you feel. And I could tell when looking at this ringtone that person, when they turned their back and went to go pick the flowers, it was a charge, feeling this adrenaline. But the marriage card tells me two things. Is this a relative by marriage? Or are they just committed and engaged in this particular activity? I say both, because here is the priest. And what does the priest do? And the end of the day gives a little baby eulogy, right? Of course, here we have the, and I just want you to know, I didn't mean a baby, like in a small eulogy. Here is the baby card. This baby denotes another beginning. And look at the flowers. That's kind of amazing that they look sort of kind of like the ones that were on Nancy's front door or near on the ground. This is a new beginning, another pathway coming about. And this loss, yeah, sorry about your luck. You didn't get the Bitcoin. But we're not done yet, my friends. It's just now heating up. It's just now heating up. We're going to do the gypsy witch. No gypsy here, no witch, but lots of cats and a bunch of tea. You can tell. You can tell. I need to go rest my neck. But not today. Not today. Here we are. A lot of messages are coming out, and look at the broken window. This means the death of a friend. And I think that Nancy was a friend to many, family member. It's not funny. But there's an 8 there, and there's a master number of 44. And that means that you've escalated from the master carpenter, master builder, master. It's a master numerology number. You don't add those together, but when you do, it comes out to be an 8. There's no coincidence. But the 44 means that you're working toward a completion. Figure as an architect. You have number 11. As you build the foundation, you have this blueprint. And then 22 is you start making the plans and you get the materials and you're an organizer. And then 33 is that number, and yes, I know 33, but 33 is that number in which you start making the plan to put it together and finalizing things and making sure everything is happening. So on 44, the build begins. So they're going back to the drawing board, my friends. And that's exactly what I feel it is. And a journey, they may just try to take off. Will they be able to? I don't know. I still believe that there's some type of foreign interference. No shade on our foreign friends because, hey, I'm foreign too. My husband is. A lot of people are. No shade on anybody. It's the way it is. We speak in terms of foreign and domestic here in the United States. I believe it's domestic to a certain degree, but has an attachment to foreign ties. Here we go. Now, the Cartomancy. And quite frankly, it's coming out sort of kind of like it did last night. Last night was very informational, and I didn't record it on purpose. But I wrote it all down because I'm a journaler. I wrote it all down. Here we are. I'm going to turn this right side because I like everybody to see what those cards are. On the bottom of the deck, the 9 of Hearts. And for me, that is the Yes card. And the heart is facing upward this time. This card and this card, we keep getting these. They may as well be one and the same. I'm just going to tell you, if she's not expired, if she hasn't had her ticket to paradise or to the upper room, she is very close, as in extremely. And they're not going to be able to take her to a hospital. That's just the way it is. Imagine she's been gone. Now, obviously, let's think about this. If she's still alive, I'm sure they're giving her clothes. I'm sure they're not letting her sit there in her nightgown. I'm sure, there is a small amount to keep someone alive like that. But I also want you to know this, that having this type of tie with the island, if that is in case, and I'm just going to say that, sort of, kind of, maybe, the end game is just the end game. Because I want you to know this. The devil resides on the island. Whomever they contract to carry things out, perhaps a family member, they promise big promises. This will happen if this will happen and this will happen. I think the same sort of kind of thing in the Charlie Kirk case, but we're going to not talk about that right now. Where you make a promise to someone to carry out a particular deed. And you know what? They don't care about that particular someone. They don't care if you get caught. They don't care if you get nailed. They don't care if you get your ticket to paradise trying to do something for them on money, because they have an end game. And the end game is they care about nothing or nobody. They just want a particular task done. Was some feathers ruffled? I can talk today. Was some feathers ruffled? Absolutely. This particular card is loss. It is the equivalent to the death card in the tarot. It is legal issues, and that's coming. And now here's the thing. This is a card of breaking from a routine and expanding. So this is telling me that this ransom thing isn't working anymore, because how can they show a proof of life when there is no life? Perhaps, sort of. And they made the dumb crook thing. See, these are not professionals. They sent this particular wallet information over to this news outlet, and the news outlet's been checking the wallet. There's not been many money in there, which means there's no proof of life. That's the only way they're going to get any money. And how dumb is that? You see, that's not a professional. Not at all. Not at all. I think someone went in, related to, known, to make it look like something that it's not, by taking the cameras off the back of the house or smashing them, or, destroying the Nest cameras. Well, guess what? They still got it anyway. But now is the game to flush out the little bird from the cover. Now is the time to flush these people out. I think I'm talking so cryptic. I'm probably going to see in the comments, Zelda, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm so sorry. And I got to tell you, I'm sorry. Well, I will summarize this in just a minute. This card here, ironically, on top of the jail card, because this is also can be a death card, but it's most definitely a jail card or imprisonment. It's definitely having difficulty getting a plan to come together. It's definitely the no card, which means no, it ain't going to work out for you. And it's definitely the lack of confidence. It's definitely a lack of intelligence. Let's face it. And then this card, a sacrifice. Basically a sacrifice, a domination. Of course, Nancy was dominated. Was this a kidnapping or an abduction? I think it's another word. We don't have another word for it. Probably not anything that I can say. Overlooked evidence. That's exactly what they're saying. And the universe knows the truth, most certainly. So overlooked evidence. There's more to come. And look, there's a camera. Hello. More to come. My darlings, get the popcorn. And this card comes out. We had that yesterday, I believe. On the bottom of the deck is the High Priestess. Now, remember the country that I talked about that has Bethlehem? Okay, so the High Priestess, and I've got to tell you this, in the 14th century, the High Priestess was real. She was a nun who knew things and knew the mysteries of the universe. Well, there was some fellows that didn't like it. They wanted to make this nun a pope, and she was going to be a pope. And then guess what? Something happened to her. But she's on this card, and remember, all water comes from the High Priestess robes. She's got a Torah on her lap, a cross around her neck. This is a woman of tradition, but she's also a woman of hidden things and mysteries. Now these two columns, Boaz and Yakim, they are two columns that hold up the temple. Where? In Israel. The pomegranates are all about tradition. This up here is a moon type phase, and then we have this moon, I call it a fingernail moon, where it is here and it captures things. It captures. And guess what? That camera captured things. We're still looking at, let me see if I can move that down so you can see this gal, because she's something else. When she shows up, you know that there's more to meet the eye. Now, this fellow right here, there's definitely more to come in another number 5. And more water. I feel that Nancy is around water, or has been around water. That's why I said yesterday, look at all the water. We're getting a lot of water references now. But look at the look on his face. Accomplishment. Now this look comes from feeling that they have overcome something, and they've laid down their swords. Basically, this person who was at the door, if he's not already been arrested, is feeling pretty smug. He's feeling pretty confident right now. The adrenaline got a feather in his cap for what he pulled off, and thinks that law enforcement is just giving up and going to walk away, and that gives him a break. Sorry about your luck. I don't believe that's happening. And you see, there's court. Listen, it will be hard. An official person is coming in, and look, we have another master number here, a 22 and a 23 coming together, my darlings. And I've got to just tell you, we will have an arrest very soon. Very soon. This is all part of the mental game. I'm surprised that one card hasn't come out. You know why it hasn't? It's because we are beyond the starting, that time when it's that ordinary moment. It's beyond that. So now we have, there's my cat Sammy, and there is Poe. The cat intuition and the Poe intelligence, the raven intelligence. The full moon, but looking out a door to the cosmic unknown, waiting for more information, but intuitively knowing that there's more to come. Waiting at the door. Waiting at the door. On the bottom, The house. Okay, and look here. We have a number. Oh, we didn't see what's on the bottom here. What are we doing, Zell? Okay. Oh, wow. Give me a second, my darlings. I'm just like, hello. We have a confirmation of a number 6. The house of residence. So we have the confirmation of what has happened, right? Sometimes the cards need to confirm us, even though we know. It makes it more solid. And look at this. We have cats and a number 8. We had a number 8 here a moment ago. The cats, even though they are all about flattery and fluff, they foretell personal injury and strife. 36 equals the number 9. That was yesterday. We had another 9 here. Now, look at this. This card. There's definitely someone behind this that is extremely evil, that had someone work in their capacity, and they're being watched. The person who's did this is being watched by the person who wanted it done. Affiliated, in my opinion. Now, when arrests are made and all this other, will anybody ever sing? Will anybody say, I did this because somebody that was associated with this particular island contacted me and wanted me to? No, that never happens. That never happens. Looking out the window in a desire. And I believe it's the family having a desire to come home. That's self-explanatory. There is the young person. I believe it's the younger, that's probably the person that was at the door. He is an air element. He's the one communicative. We're going to see more. It's not done yet. Don't forget, come over, Fate and Fortune True Oracle. I'll leave the link in the description. I'm going to put more over there. You're going to see it. And thanks so much for your prayers for Nancy and for being here. Much love. Be nice. And I'll see you soon. Bye for now.